For the longest time, I was broke as fuck. Like when I say broke, I mean broke. Like the type that you're owning like five different loan apps, that type of shit. Right, and all your SIM cards you're borrowed in every single one of your SIM cards. You're owning all these loan apps, you're borrowed in your SIM card, and yet you check your OP or your bank app, like you're still broke. And that type of broke. So I was down bad, I was broke, and it cost me a lot of like I just didn't like it. Right. But within the last 6 months, it's almost like that has completely changed, right? Not to say I'm rich by any means, I'm still I'm still not rich, but I like in terms of like I just as you can see, I'm not finding it difficult to say the words because just thinking back to where I'm coming from, how life used to be just maybe 6 months earlier or 10 months earlier, 1 year ago, year and a half ago. Like it's just so it's crazy, right? It's like the point I'm at now, it's not like I've not gotten close to my goals by any means. I'm still like very, very far away, but so I've come a long way. That's just a little point I'm trying to make. So now that I'm comparing to myself of today to that version of myself, like my 1 year ago version, right? I look at that my 1 year ago version and it's like it's not even so far off from success, honestly. Like if you're 18 to 25, like yeah, honestly, to some degree, not so far off from success. Now, obviously, depends on where you are, but I'm going to assume you were more like myself. It's just like a few things are just holding you down, and maybe the days to come, I'll talk a lot more about it in more details and stuff. But the thing I'll just say, like the biggest to me, the biggest thing that changed everything for me, I would say, is just skill sets. I'll say literally a skill set and a system of getting paid. Like once you can do those two consistent, like once those two can just come in consistently, like it will just happen. Like your life will just transform. Right? It's like cash flow becomes extremely easy. And the reason why I brought that up is because when I look at my like when I was much broker, like I didn't really have any skill set, and I did actually have skill sets too. That's kind of false. I did actually have skill sets because I've already been I've been making YouTube videos for like almost 7 years now, right? So I've been making YouTube videos like on all of that. So I already kind of had the skill of being able to make videos, being able to edit videos, and all of that stuff. So being able to, I want to say grow on social media, but I barely had any followers. But at least I had like some theories and ideas, right? So, but at least the one that we could all evidently see that okay, he actually has this skill is being able to just edit, shoot, record, edit videos, like make a video very presentable. So that was a skill set, but even with that, I was still broke, right? Like maybe on my last run, but basically there was this girl that I was working with, like she's my friend and all that. She became friends, and like she just says it all the time, when we're working together, like you're very talented, like you're very good at this, you're very skilled. But like to me, it didn't even matter because it's like yes, but where has that gotten me? Yeah, right. I'm still broke. I'm still miserable. And the thing is that I was mixing one other key part of the puzzle, which is a system for making your skill worth it. Right. So what do I mean by that? If like in my own case, for example, I was like a little video editor and all that. If you're just like a little video editor, right? Like it doesn't really mean anything. Like you'll be good at your videos and stuff, but that's about it, right? That's about it. You need some form of system, and that system is what is going to both connect you to the customer and also to the paycheck, like the money that's going to flow into your account. Now the luck I do have is the current skill set I'm doing is like hosted by like a company, right? So that is automatically done for me. But that's one like the first little hack I'll give to you. If you already have some form of skill sets, right, you're already kind of good at something. And if you are absolutely good, like if you are just good at nothing, the very first thing I would say is you should try to become good at something. And the thing is like it could literally be anything. The thing I've noticed, let me even go like let's get real here for a moment. I I obsess a lot about this business model, how to make money, how to get rich, this, that. I want to get $10,000 a month. Like now I'm talking to you like life is much better than it was then. But it's like it's still not close. Like I'm still making money in Naira, bro. Like I'm even talking six figures Naira. Like obviously compared to like a lot of people it's like good, like better, especially in Nigeria. But it's like bro, 100k naira is nothing. 200k naira is nothing. 300k naira is nothing. 400k naira is nothing. Like that's no money at all. Like 400k, you can't even buy the latest iPhone. 400k, you can't buy like like something like the latest Samsung or something. Like if you just like, it's like you could like it's nothing basically, right? So I'm still very ambitious. I'm looking towards those big dollar goals. Like I want to make $1,000. I want to make $10,000. I want to make $50,000. Like that's what I'm looking at, right? Can't remember what's the one that us to this point again. I can't remember. Well, okay, I do know I was talking about. Okay, yeah, I remember now. So it's like we are looking for that thing, but you know the thing, like that thing that's going to make us that big money, 50,000, 100,000, $1 million, whatever. But you know the thing I kind of found out, everything can get you to that point, which is so interesting because you would think that the road to that place is, one specific thing, but you actually find out there are a million other things. Like they used to say a million ways to make $1 million or something like that. And the conclusion I came to is like you could become, let's assume we're looking at making $1 million, right? You could make $1 million from dancing on TikTok. I'm sure, like we have all seen, like I'm sure there are millionaires on TikTok that literally made their money from dancing. You could make $1 million from also doing OnlyFans. There are girls that made $1 million from basically selling their pussy. You could make $1 million from doing tech stuff. So there are guys that made $1 million from being programmers, like they wrote code or they built some software, whatever random thing. You could make $1 million from being a YouTuber. Guys that literally made $1 million from making YouTube fucking videos. You could make $1 million from selling like agriculture. There are people that became millionaires from literally agriculture, right? So you could make $1 million from like transportation. People that became millionaires from transportation could make $1 million from like service-based things, service-based businesses, like you're a web designer, you're a copywriter, you're like a email marketer, you're like you run ads, whatever. Point is like they're like all these ways can make you a millionaire. But the funny thing is like it's not about the way you choose. The way you choose doesn't really matter. Like you could think of the silliest thing, like I said earlier. People have literally become millionaires from dancing on TikTok. Like that is just mind blowing. People have become millionaires from making fucking skits, like making fucking jokes, pranks. People have become like, let this sink into your brain. Let you understand what I'm trying to say here. People have made millions of dollars from doing pranks. Like that has to be like the silliest thing ever. When you were much younger, when we were in school, like secondary school, and in class, like there's this there's usually the kid that is kind of a bully, but very probably like just very chaotic, and he will run some sort of prank, right? So maybe on your seat they'll leave something there, so you sit on it, it will now come to your trouser, everybody will now be laughing. That type of, like, people have become millionaires from doing that type of bullshit. I want that to sink into your brain. So it's like, if as dumb, as irresponsible as whatever that thing is, people can become millionaires from that. How much more anything? So it's like the point I'm trying to make is you shouldn't even be concerned about what should I do. What you should be concerned about is getting good, because the thing about all these different industries I mentioned is the people that do become millionaires, they are all really fucking good at their shits. They're all really fucking good at their shit. Like they basically know how to do the thing so well that it can make them millions of dollars. That is the secret. That is the cheat code. That is the game. Is being able to do something so good that it can make you millions of dollars. Because if you're looking for a special hack, there is none. Like obviously some parts might be easier, some parts are more accessible, some parts make more sense for more people, some parts are like like more straightforward, some parts are more advisable than others, whatever. Parts are more moral, some parts are more, whatever. You get the idea. But like they all lead to the same place at the end of the day. So the idea is like the thing you want to be looking for is not the making of the money, right? You want to be looking at the skill, because if you are just bad, if you are shit, it doesn't matter what skill you pick, you're still going to be shit. And the shit person makes no money. It's like the skilled person makes millions of dollars or makes money. Skilled person makes money, shit person makes no money. Doesn't matter the skill. No matter how good is the skill, no matter how bad the skill, no matter how prestigious, how lucrative, how high value the skill, like it just does not matter. It just does not matter. The rich person, the skilled person rather, is going to make money. The unskilled, the shitty person just wants. So rather than focusing so much on who wants to make, like focus on just getting skilled, focus on getting good at something, right? So the same way I will even also advise is also just video, like just get good at videos. Maybe that that was what I did. So just make videos, get good at making videos. But it doesn't just have to be videos, because the thing that really changed my life rather, wasn't artist to this to this point, right? It's not just making videos, right? Like to me it was being a technician, being like an handyman, learning skills, like learning handwork, learning how to do connections, learning how to do home connection, fiber installations, blah, blah, blah. That's what has really changed my life. That's what made the big difference. So you want to focus on getting good at the skill, right? So now if you're already good at the skill, right, you're already like reasonably good at the skill that you are learning, or some sort of skill, right? The next thing to me is you want to find some sort of system or way to basically get customers and also get money, right? So, and the last asterisk I'll just put there is try to get the money, or try to make it that the way you provide it, like the page is just worth it, right? Like for example, okay, maybe when you're starting out you shouldn't worry about that so much, but for example, right, if you let's assume you are good at weaving hair, let's assume it's hair, or let's say it's cutting hair, right? You get good at that. It's like you could barb somebody's hair, and let's assume each hair you barb is 1,000 naira they pay you. Like that's kind of bad in my own opinion, because for you to make 10,000, it means you have to cut 10 people's hair. For you to make 100,000, you have to cut 100 people's hair. For you to make 1,000,000, you have to cut like let's say 1,000,000 people, right? Like it is just like kind of, because the pay is low. So that obviously, like I said, just it doesn't really matter the skill, which is kind of true. But the asterisk there is to just make it a little easier and faster. Is you want to find the skill that just like one is like how you can charge a lot for that skill / service, right? So for example, the person that cuts hair. Now, like the thing is that it's not, that's what I said again. It's not necessarily about the skills. It's not necessarily about like the skill. Yeah, it's about how good you are. So the same person that cuts hair, right? The person that is shit basically makes no money. Like maybe it's just his family's haircut, so he managed to cut. You give him 200. Person that is average, you cut your hair, you pay 1,015. Person that is good and skilled and smart, instead of just being like an average barber, maybe he has a way he presents his stuff. He like only cuts hair for celebrities, he only cuts hair for rich people. So this guy can charge, let's say, 20,000 per haircut. Now that sounds insane, like, oh, but think about it. Think about the person that barbs like the president's hair, right? In Nigeria, everybody hates the president. But think about somebody like maybe Davido, all these musicians, right? All these big musicians, Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and so on and so forth. All these celebrities online, right? Like I don't really know. I'm not conversant in the Nigerian celebrity world. I don't know. I don't care. But let's just use big musicians for example. Somebody like Davido. Now think about his barber. His barber, he's not paying his barber. Like his barber will only charge 1,000 naira for those haircuts. He's probably going to pay his barber 6 figures just for that haircut alone. So that's how you want to position yourself. That's where you want to be. That's the type of part you should be pushing towards, right? Like you can get more out of that skill, right? Because another thing again is one thing because how I put it, the lower you charge, the more you just like, it's just slower. So you want to just find it fast. Another thing I would just say is sometimes I'm like moving around and stuff. There's all these POS, people that you can withdraw money from here in Nigeria. I know if you live in Nigeria, and sometimes it's like I always just feel bad for people, because it's like how do you even make money, bro? Like for each, like maybe you will want to withdraw 5,000, they will charge you 200. Want to withdraw 3,000, charge you 100 naira. If it's 3,000, it's 100 naira. That's so to just make 1,000 naira, get this just to just buy data for 2 days. Literally have to serve 10 customers to buy data for 2 days. And then if you now want to buy, get 10,000 naira to, I don't know, buy a new shirt or buy some pair of shoes or whatever, you literally have to serve 100 people. Like, to me, that is just like, that's slave war. Like, that's not what it's, that is literally not what it is. That's literally not what it's, right? So, like, the more money you can charge for the skill, the better. And the last one is you just want to find, the customers some sort of system that brings them in consistency, right? Because, for example, someone like Davido's hair, the Davido Baba will use that. Let's assume they pay him 6 figures, right? So, but Ibab's Davido, obviously, it's not going to be every day, it's going to buy Davido's hair. So, Ibab's the hair today. The next time Davido is going to come back for another haircut, let's assume next month, for example. So, for till now to next month, it's not just going to sit down, right? So, you have to find a way to make it that, okay, today I bab Davido, tomorrow I bab Wizkid, next tomorrow I bab Burna Boy, next tomorrow I bab, whatever other musicians, celebrities there, like that. So, like, it's consistent, right? It's fairly consistent. Maybe it might not be every day, it could be once or twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever. Like, but it's at least it's reasonably consistent, so that the cash flow can be coming in. Because if it just happens once, like, till further notice, like, you are going to be broke, right? It also reminds me of certain time, like when I was in school. Each time I think about when I was in school, I always get sad because of how, like, obviously I wasn't poor, but I wasn't poor, but I was broke as fuck, and it pained me badly because it was like, I just feel bad. But anyways, points I just trying to make is like, there was this thing I went, like this gig I did, right? So they eventually paid me 40k in school, like when I was doing IT, and I was happy, like happiest money in the world, literally. They were actually even supposed to pay 20, but I think they overpaid me for whatever, so I was happiest money in the world. So they paid me 40k, but the problem is that was the end, right? Like, another gig like that just never came up, or at least the next gig like that was going to be like the next semester, and that next semester, like, I was no longer doing the IT. Not even, will I even say, was it even the next semester or the next session? One of those two, either the next semester or the next session. Either way, that's like forever, right? Because next semester, if it's going to be fast, that's 3 months. They're going to wait another 3 months just to make 40k. Now, that's 40k, sometimes I make it even in a fucking day, bro. Not flexible, right? Well, like, the point I'm just trying to make is like, the spacing is too far. That type of 40k gig was amazing. But it's like, you want to have it close by, because if it's spaced out like that, then it does, like, it won't mean anything, right? The 40k is going to finish, and like, it won't mean anything. So that's practically it, right? Like, if you're 18 to 25, at least that's my age range. I'm 22 years old right now, about 2023. So, and I'm just thinking, at least from when I was like free to like kind of move around, because I didn't really start to experience like adulthood or just freedom till I entered university, which was when I was around 18 years old. That's when I could like move around. My parents, like, so I like using that 18 to 25 at least is realistic for me, because I can think back to my younger self, and also 25 is still far from me, sure, but like 2 years difference, but I'm still pretty close. I have friends 25. I have people that's 25 years old, and speak to them like every day or whatever. So I know what it actually is like. Like, it's not too far. 22 years old and 25, or 23 years old and 25 years old, they're not too, like, it's still the same age range anyways. But if you're within that age range, like I've said, it's the 3 things. First of all, you want to just get good at a skill, any form of skill set. Secondly, you want to find ways to get clients, right? It's like a system. So a little hack I will just give you is, if you can just find an already existing system, just join that system. Now, the problem with already existing systems is usually they are owned by people, and most likely there will be rules, regulations, terms, conditions, whatever. That's just the disadvantage. So, which is basically just like a job, right? Like, that's just the disadvantage. But if you can find out, that's like a shortcut. Because, like, my own, I'm just thinking, like, one of my jobs in my job is sales, right? It's like sales stuff. So it's like, first of all, you could go out to the world to try and sell your own products, right? Which, like, you could still do, and you should still do. Like, you just sell another person's one. It's always easier to just sell another person's one, because like when you're trying to sell, you're building everything from the ground up. Selling the other person, so everything has already been done. Like you just sell the product. That's like the main thing. And the person already has the payment structure. The person already has the payment plan. The person has this. Person has that. Like everything is already set in stone, right? But the other thing is like with my own technician job, right? Like they bring the jobs to me, so I'm the one that will see the, like they bring the jobs to me and I'll go and do it. But if I actually had to go out into the world to go and look for this job, like to make this job, like I'll be 10 times more miserable. I'll be 1,000 times more miserable because it's basically like be extremely hard to find, right? So that's because I'm already part of like the ecosystem of the company. So if you can find an ecosystem like that, perfect. So that's maybe getting a job. Another thing I would say is maybe not getting like an official job because I'm not a fan of 9 to 5. Like with my job, the thing I'm grateful for this my call it a job is like there's no fixed time. It's not like, oh, you go wake up in the morning by 8 and quickly run to the office. They're trying to do something like that, sure, but at least that one is more like just an attendance type of stuff. Like I just hate the idea that you run to the office by 8, you can sit down there and I'll stay there till in the evening. Like I don't subscribe to that. To me, it's like I like the type where there's freedom. That today I want to, let's say for the whole of this week, I want to go out every single day, work from morning till night, and for the next 2 weeks, I want to go nowhere, or at least I want to focus on something else, or just relax or do whatever I want to do. Then the next 3 weeks again, I want to fire. Like I like that type of life. I hate it that it's every single day. Like you basically don't have say what your choice. Like I just like because maybe for example now, okay, today, my mom needs me to help her do something. Oh, sorry, I cannot do it because I have work. But if it's my own terms, like okay, yes, I have work to do, but okay, we can shift it to later today, or can shift it to tomorrow. Okay, I'll quickly do the work right now, finish on time, so I can go and help her. Like I like that flexibility, right? So, if I learn a skill, get some form of system. That's either somebody else's one. That's the best part. But all the things, if you don't want to use somebody, you can also use it for by yourself. The only problem is you just have to build it from the ground up, which usually will take more time, more effort, and more energy. But I feel like that's one more worth it because like there's literally zero terms and conditions. Like you're literally the boss 100%. Even though I have a lot of freedom and autonomy, it's not still 100. Like there are still rules and regulations I have to follow, which is kind of annoying, honestly. But like there are still terms and conditions I have to meet, rules and regulations I have to follow, things of that nature. But if you're the one that build it up from the ground up, like there's nothing. Then I'll argue that maybe the last part is to just be patient and be serious. Like just be patient in the sense that you might start whatever thing you are doing and you might not see results immediately. And just be serious with it also. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter the skill. Like if you're shit, you're shit. It's like doesn't matter how good the skill is or how good the opportunity is. Like, if you're shit, you're shit. So just focus on not being shit and be patient. Then learn a skill and find an ecosystem that brings customers to you and also brings money to you. And make sure the money that is coming to you is in large chunks. The larger the chunks, the better. But the smaller the chunks, the worse. You don't want 100 naira like POS people. Those people like God is literally helping them because I don't know how those guys do it. Those guys are legends, honestly. Like, imagine making 100 naira and and it's not even something like it's an online thing, right? Like think about maybe your bank now. That one makes sense because bank for each transaction you do, they'll take 20 naira. 20 naira times 20 million people is like $1 billion naira. Like, that one makes sense because they can actually serve 20 million people. POS, like how many people are you going to serve? Like if you manage to serve 30 people in a day, that's still amazing, right? But 30 people is like 30, that's maybe 30,000, right? Or 30 times 100, 30,000. Okay, 30,000. And you know what it means to attend to 30? Like that basically takes the whole day and it's extremely exhausting. I also need to wake up tomorrow to do it the next day or next. Like that, to me, that's just wild. That same 30,000, one customer could pay. That same 30,000, maybe 2 or 3 customers could pay, right? So anyways, that was it for this little video. I want to get more in there. Like my goal for this channel now, I say goals every time when I change it, the fucking plot is still the channel. My goal for this channel now is to actually just like teach my younger. So like anytime I think back There are two things I think back to, or a lot of things that have caused me pain or whatever. But usually, one of the things that make me just quite sad is always my younger self. Just thinking about how lost and sad, directionless and confused that this felt. The first is just in terms of life in general, but now also thinking in terms of money as well. Like there are just a few things I could have just tweaked that would have given me a completely different reality from the one I had. Like, I was just broke as fuck and shit. Like I just wish I knew those things. So that's what I aim to do with this channel. That's my plan anyway. Anyways, that's it for this little video. See you in the next one.